Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another NASCAR recap series. This was a fun one. I tell you what, Bristol is always exciting. I mean, I got like sweaty during that race. My heart was pounding again. If you don't like NASCAR, go watch a Bristol race. You'll change your mind. And of course, you're here because you like NASCAR. Bristol's got to be your favorite track. I mean, it's definitely mine. How about that race? Chase Elliott, for the fourth time in 4 races, has the lead with 10 laps to go in the race. And 3 times now, he has blown it. Now, is this all his fault? No, we'll talk about that in a second, but somehow Keselowski steals the win for the second time in 3 races. It's insane. It's so much fun. I mean, like I said, this is one of my favorite tracks, one of the best tracks. It's a super speedway confined in 0.5 miles. It's so much fun. Let's talk about everything that happened because so much happened today. I gotta take a breath here because we gotta go over everything. So, like I said, Chase Elliott was in the lead. Him, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson, you could throw his name in there as well, had dominant cars all day. Keselowski was another guy you could probably toss his hat in the ring as well. Those 5 guys, really good all day. 5 or 6 guys, good all day. Blaney up there too. Forgot about him, but he wrecked early. I'll talk about that later. But any of those guys had really good cars all day. And, you know, especially in stage 2, when it was Jimmy, Elliott, Busch, and Hamlin, when they were running lap around lap, trying to find each other, oh, that was so good. That was like the best racing I've seen. And then it happened again in the last couple of laps with Elliott, Logano, and Hamlin. And this is where we get to the good part. Hamlin's out front. He goes wide, hits the wall, gets in front of a lap car. Logano and Elliott go right underneath him. That was great. And then Logano drives in too deep into the corner. He goes up into the wall, collects Hamlin. Elliott goes on by, and Hamlin can't keep it straight. Runs into, I think it was McLeod, and that brought out the caution, the last caution with like 5 laps to go. I'm glad Chase Elliott didn't pit there, by the way. But 5 laps to go. Elliott is on older tires than Keselowski or Clint Boyer and everybody else basically behind him. He was a sitting duck there. I'm glad he didn't pit, but that caution, bringing it out, that really sucks because Chase Elliott was going to drive away from those guys. And the caution comes out, like I said, and on the restart, he was battling Logano really hard. You could see those guys, especially on a little older tires, they were trying to get away from Keselowski, and the rest of those guys, they were just too fast. But, you know, you look at that last restart with 5 to go, and Elliott drives it in there on the high side, and Logano just made it stick on the bottom. I don't know how that happened, but Logano makes it stick on the bottom, gets into Elliott, lets Elliott, or forces Elliott up the track. Elliott lets him go by, and then Elliott comes back, starts beating on his back bumper, gets into him. Now, I thought Elliott was going to get by him. Logano was going to let him by. And then with 1 lap to go, like we saw at Martinsville a couple of years ago when he moved Ryan Truex Jr. to get into the Final 4 and then ultimately won the championship that year, I thought that's what was going to happen with Elliott. Elliott was going to get in front of him, and then Logano was going to come up, bang his door. He was going to send him into the wall, and that was going to be it. But Chase Elliott was the guy on the bottom of the track. He had a great run, like I said, was bumping on Logano's door now, and he got to the inside of him and just ran it in there too hard, kind of like what Logano did in front of Hamlin. He ran up, put Logano and himself in the wall, and here comes Keselowski. Now, I don't know why there wasn't a caution for that. It looked like Chase Elliott blew a tire, honestly, and he just went right into Logano, but I don't know. I was really hoping for a caution there, and I hope that Jimmy Johnson could get something going. Of course, like I said, I'm a Johnson and Elliott fan, but that just made me cry. Keselowski steals another victory. Like I said, he did this at Charlotte. You know, when Elliott pitted and Keselowski takes the win that way. You just can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. As Elliott gets screwed again, Keselowski gets lucky again. I mean, he put himself in that position. He put himself in a great position, but he wasn't there all day. He had the great first, 60 laps or so, and then he got passed by Elliott. Kyle Busch came back up there. The rest of these guys were really good. Blaney was up there, and then he kind of faded. He got a penalty in the pits, and then all of a sudden, here he comes with 3 laps to go, passes the guy with the lead. All of a sudden, he wins the race. It's just incredible. It's incredible. NASCAR is so much fun. I tell you, there has not been a bad race this year, but that's the story of why Elliott did not win this race, or Logano. I guess Logano. I picked Logano to win the race before this. I thought he's been always good at Bristol, but what a race it was. That's all I gotta say. Either Logano or Hamlin or Chase Elliott were really battling there. That was just fun. That was fun. So let's go back to stages 2 and 3, the early parts of 3. Lots of cautions. Like I previously mentioned it right at the beginning of this video, when Jimmie Johnson, Elliott, Busch, and Hamlin were running 1, 2, 3, 4, and they got to lap cars, they would try to find each other's lines, going up, going down. It was so exciting. That was, like I said, one of the most exciting parts of this race, where it was just a long green flag run, and they were trying to see, where is somebody going to run? Are they going to get loose in traffic? Where are they going to pass in traffic? That was so great. And then the caution comes out. I believe this was true. No, was that? There were so many cautions. There were like 16 cautions. Sorry if I can't remember them all. 17 cautions in this race. That's insane. But what caution was that? I don't know. It bothers me because there were so many. But let's just say it was the Truex one where he gets pushed by Bubba and Almirola, and they all spin. I don't think it was that one, but regardless, it was Harvick. I bet it was Harvick. I bet that's the one it was. Harvick and Almirola get into it. What was it, Almirola? Gosh, there were so many cars. I'm sorry. I have OCD. I have to try to get this stuff right. But the point being, caution comes out, and that reset everything. I was heartbroken at that point because Chase Elliott and Jimmie Johnson had such faster cars than Kyle Busch and Hamlin. But, that caution comes out, and then it's just a short sprint. Like I said, I'm a Jimmie Johnson fan. Really wanted Jimmy to do well and get this win. And he did not have a short-run car. He had a long-run car, and then these cautions kept coming out. It was so painful to watch, and to get third, I think, is good. But, what can you do? Let's talk about Stage 2. Ryan Blaney. Stage 2 was exciting. Ryan Blaney, he had one of the best cars all day. He was leading early, and I believe he was in second at the time of the caution, I think chasing Keselowski, and he gets up into the marble is what they called it, slides up the track, gets into the wall, and then here comes Ty Dillon. What are you doing? Now, I get, this was an accident, okay? Misjudged it completely. It's more of an accident than I would say Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott was, but you look at that, and you just do, why didn't you stop, okay? Why didn't Ty Dillon just stop? Okay, the caution, if you don't know, the caution, when it is waved, the yellow flag comes out, the field freezes, and you're stuck in that position. So, regardless of, where you are on the track, when the caution comes out, you're in that position. Here comes Blaney, he's on the top, spins, caution comes out at this point. Caution comes out. Well, here comes Ty Dillon. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you have to make these decisions in a really, like a second, right? I mean, there's no way for him to tell if he's going to stay up on the track, if he's going to slide down, if he's going to stop, and for Dillon to just not stop. I mean, he came up right here and just turned left, and he took off the front nose of Blaney. He could have stopped, and like I said, he would have been in that same position, wrecked Blaney. Blaney's day was done. He would have been okay if he didn't get hit by Dillon. That really was like, oh, what are you doing moment. I mean, but Blaney was a good sport about it afterwards, and it looked like they were talking, so they were okay, but that's short track racing right there. He turned left and literally took off the front of the car. I don't know why it happened. I think Ty Dillon should have stopped, but how about the other wreck? Stenhouse. That was a hard hit in Stage 2 in the inside wall. Thank goodness for safer barriers. That was insane. But it comes in. Jimmie Johnson turns in because Kenseth was on the outside. Stenhouse was right behind him, and Jimmy was behind him. Kenseth gets really loose. He has to check up. Stenhouse has to check up. Jimmie Johnson coming in at full speed into the corner. He can't check up, and he turns Stenhouse. Stenhouse goes face first into the safer barrier. Again, that was really great that that's there because that would have been a hard hit. Comes back up the track and then T-bones Cole Custer and I believe it was Tyler Reddick. That was a hard hit for both those guys. Bowman couldn't go anywhere. The big one at Bristol, that's what that was. That was exciting though. And Stenhouse had a great race last time out at Charlotte. Got kind of screwed today, I would say, getting involved in that accident. There's a couple, like I said, there's a couple good guys that got really affected by it. Eric Almirola had a great car. DiBenedetto had a good car. Stenhouse crashed. Bowman. And then Blaney and Hamlin and Logano, Chase Elliott, you know, all these guys had great race cars and they ended up trashed. But in that race, or that wreck in particular, that was the big one. A lot of guys crashed. That was exciting to watch, but good they're all okay. And again, that's what really set up that long green flag run there for those 4 guys to go off on it. And it was, like I said, a lot of fun. Chase Elliott won the first 2 stages. Brad Keselowski won the final stage, which would have been the race win. Like I said, he steals the victory for the 2nd time in 3 races. I'm sure it's going to be a great race. You know, I wish they would race at Bristol twice, but I'm sure it's going to be an even great race tomorrow with the Xfinity cars and next week in Atlanta. So let's go through the top 10 really quick, and then I'll get you out of here. Keselowski gets the win. Boyer gets 2nd. Again, those guys with fresher tires, it paid off for him. Jimmy gets 3rd. Good for him. Hopefully he doesn't get disqualified this time. Busch gets 4th. Eric Jones gets 5th. Austin Dillon 6th. Kurt Busch, who was in that accident with Stenhouse, he gets a really good rebound and finishes 7th. William Byron 8th. Bell 9th. Good day for him. He was running up there a lot. And Bubba Wallace 10th. Kevin Harvick finishes 11th, which is the first time outside the top 10 this year. So a good rebound for him, even though he was involved in that crash. So that's all I got for you guys today. A really, really fun race. Almost every car had some damage on it at the end, and that's what you like to see. Bristol, baby. It's short track racing, bump and run. Good action. So I loved it. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys for the Xfinity race tomorrow.